Hello and welcome to this very special sit-down. We are in the heart of London Colney and we're very lucky to be joined by Vinai and Raul, who are going to answer some of our questions, important questions at the end of the season. And let's get straight into it. First of all, how would you sum up the performance?
Oh, well, that's a pretty big question. Where do I start? Well, I guess this has been a season which really has been dominated by a lot of change. We've obviously gone from 22 years with Arsene Wenger to Unai Emery. But it's been more than just a change of the individual. It's been a change of our model, moving from what you might call the traditional football model of having a manager with a broad set of responsibilities to Unai being the head coach with a more controlled and more narrow set of responsibilities surrounded by relevant experts. We've also had Petr Cech moving to head up the academy, and of course Ivan Gazidis leaving us to join AC Milan, and Raul and I stepping up into our new roles. So there's been lots of change, and within all of that change, we've set ourselves lots of objectives for the season. But if you wanted to really boil it down into two objectives, you'd probably say there would be one, to make sure that we successfully integrate Unai and his coaching staff to Arsenal, and the second one, as challenging as we knew it would be, to qualify for the Champions League. So if you assess our season against those two objectives, well, with Unai, I guess the best way to assess that is if we could go back in time, would we have made the same decision? And I can say absolutely 100% categorically, we would have appointed Unai again. We're really, really pleased with the impact he's having with Arsenal, and we're really delighted with his appointment. On the Champions League, obviously the primary way to get into the Champions League is through your league performance. So all of us here at Arsenal, Unai, ourselves, all the players, all the staff are naturally really disappointed that we didn't quite make it there into the top four places. And I guess you can reflect on that in one of two ways. You can either look back, maybe half glass empty, at some of the missed opportunities that we had along the way to just get those few points that we needed. Or you can look at it half glass full, that we were incredibly close to getting there. But I guess the reality is we didn't get there, so we are really disappointed. But we've got plenty to look forward to. We've got a European final on the horizon, which gives us the chance to win a European trophy, but also gives us the chance to get back in the Champions League. So everyone here at Arsenal is hugely focused on that game in Baku and giving ourselves the best possible chance to be successful. And we're feeling really confident about the game.
And I would say individually, when you look at Unai, so we heard there that yes, in the first season he's done a brilliant job and you would definitely go back if you could do it again and still appoint him. So do you think individually you're on the right track with this manager?
Absolutely. I think Vinai already went through the whole process. We were very careful. The moment was very important. Arsene Wenger's shadow is huge. We have the highest respect and appreciation for all the things he did. Arsenal would not be where Arsenal is now without that manager and the great work he did. So coming after that big legend was a challenge itself, you know. So when we were looking into different options, when we were analyzing the possible candidates to come to become our head coach, we defined a series of dimensions that they had to cover. The way of playing football, looking at the youngsters, developing players, tactics, etc. But another thing that we were looking for was courage. Had to be somebody with big courage, big passion to take that challenge and do it properly. And I think by all means, Unai has achieved that. He's a man of courage and he's a man of passion, and he's been demonstrating that over the whole season. And we knew that already, but of course you never really know completely until the person gets into the job. And I think from the first day, he's been proving, again, this courage and this passion all through the season, with the players, with the fans, with us, with the staff. So yes, I totally agree with Vinai. I think, and I don't think, I'm definitely sure that if we had to do it all over again, we would do it the same way.
So we're heading towards the Europa League final, which first of all is a huge achievement, and the fan base are absolutely overjoyed. What are your thoughts on making that final?
Oh, listen, everyone at Arsenal is hugely excited by it. I mean, to be in a major European final is a really exciting moment. It's been a while since we've been in a major European final, so we don't take these things for granted. We've got a bit of a wait till we get to that final, but we're counting down the days. We just can't wait to get there.
I'd like also to mention on this that the Europa League is probably one of Unai's preferred areas, comfort zones. He's won it 3 times already. He's never lost a final. We're hoping that that streak continues. From the day one, when we were talking with him, he was already talking about this season. When we were talking about our objective was to qualify for the Champions League, he would always mention the Europa League in our objectives. He was very clear. He wanted this title. We got to the final. We're extremely excited. There's not so many finals you get over time. So we're really, really, really excited and hoping that we can deliver that to our fans. We extremely believe in the capabilities of the team, and definitely on the capabilities of our head coach to lift that trophy.
With this huge level of anticipation and excitement, making a final also comes with its problems because it will be staged in Baku, and we know that there's only 6,000 tickets for each of the fan bases for the London clubs, Chelsea and for Arsenal as well. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I'd say firstly that of course we accept and acknowledge that the venue for a final is always set well in advance, and it's certainly set in advance of when you know who's going to get to the final. We were in Baku earlier this season in the group stages when we played Karabag. It's a beautiful city and the people of Baku were hugely welcoming. But I would say from a club perspective, we are really disappointed that we have ended up in a situation where we're playing in a major European final, and because of travel issues, the maximum number of tickets that can be made available to fans of both clubs is 6,000. So we're going to be playing in a stadium that is bigger than Emirates Stadium, and both clubs are only going to get 6,000 tickets. And that's hugely disappointing. The issue, I guess, is more acute for a club like Arsenal because we're so well supported and we have more than 45,000 season ticket holders. But the reality is whoever got to the final was going to need more than 6,000 tickets. So it's really disappointing, and we are receiving calls and letters and much more from fans that are heartbroken because they're not able to go to the final despite following Arsenal home and away for so many years. So we have written to UEFA about this, and we have asked them to explain really what is the process by which the venue for the final is determined, and how are they taking into account match-going fans and making that decision. Because we want to make sure that Arsenal, and actually all clubs that are in UEFA competitions, aren't in this situation again, because as I said, it is really, really disappointing for us, for the players and also for the fans.
Now, this fan base have been blessed for decades with top 4 finishes, and that's what they used to, that's what they expect. So what is the strategy to get this club back to where they want to be?
Sure. Well, I'll start with what the vision of the club is. So the vision is quite simple. It's to make our fans, wherever they live all around the world, proud of their football club. And we're going to do that by winning our way. So that means winning major trophies. And if you're at Arsenal, that's 2 trophies, the Premier League and the Champions League. And looking to win those trophies our way. So respecting the 130 plus years of history, tradition, values, behaviours that make this club what it is today. So it's a lofty ambition, and it's not going to happen, obviously, overnight. There's going to be a lot of hard work ahead, and it's not going to happen by us just saying it. It's going to be happening by lots and lots of hard work. And the first step along that way is to get back into the Champions League, hence why that's such a big focus for us at the moment. But to answer your question on strategy, well, we need to continue to generate our revenues, because our revenues are the fuel that enable us to be successful on the pitch. So looking forward to next season, we have our new deal with Emirates. We have a new kit deal. We're continuing to expand the hospitality areas of our stadium. We're going on an expansive pre-season tour. We do all of those things effectively to generate more revenue, because that's more fuel for us to be successful on the pitch. So if the money and the revenue is the fuel, and the football side of the club really is the engine, and we need that engine to be operating as efficiently as possible, so every pound that we're spending has the absolute maximum impact. And there's lots of initiatives that we have to make sure that the football side of our club is as efficient as possible. So one example is, of course, the academy. We want to make sure that we continue to promote players from our academy into the first team, and that they make a real impact in the first team. It's important because it's obviously financially efficient, but it's also important because we want players in the first team dressing room who've grown up with the club, that really know what it means to represent Arsenal. And we think we're in a good place with the academy. We've got a great leader in Petr Cech. We feel like we've got a good group of youngsters, some of which that have been promoted into the first team squad this season, some of which are doing very well in the under-23s and the under-18s who've had great seasons. So the academy is a really important part. we need to make sure that we're managing that progression from the academy to the first team sensibly. So should a player be playing a little bit longer in the under-23s? Should they go straight to the first team? Or should they go out on loan? So we've done quite a lot of that this season with Emi Martinez going on loan to Reading, Reece Nelson on loan to Hoffenheim, and then Emil Smith-Rowe on loan to Leipzig. And I think as we look forward, we'll see more of those development opportunities on loan to make sure we're giving players the playing time in carefully selected clubs that we think can help them on their journey to the first team. We need to continue to look at our wage bill. We've got, and it's well known that we've got a large wage bill. That's a good thing. That demonstrates the financial muscle and the financial power of Arsenal, which is important for us to be successful. But we need to make sure that we're spending that money as efficiently as possible, and we spend a lot of time focusing on that. Of course, we need to be sensible and we need to be efficient in the transfer window. We need to sign excellent players. We need to make sure those players can make a real contribution. And if I look back to the last window with Bernd Leno, Matteo Guendouzi, Lucas Torreira, Papasocrates and others, we think we're bringing in players that can make a really big impact. And we believe that those players and many more can make a bigger impact next season. We need to be sure that when we're selling players that we are maximising the funds that we get when we sell players, because all of those funds just get reinvested back into the team. And there's so much more. We need to make sure that we're really disciplined. So a good example of that is where we have senior players that aren't towards the end of their careers, we need to make sure that those players, when they've got 2 years left to go on their contract, we're making the difficult decisions. We're either renewing those players' contracts or we're selling those players. So we're going to have to be brave in those decisions along the way, because we can't be in a situation where we're allowing players to walk out the door for free unless they're coming towards the end of their career. And I guess the other things that we need to focus on are things like our culture, making sure we have the right culture around this building, making sure we have the right culture around the club, having a high-performance winning culture where people are determined to succeed together as a team.
I have to congratulate you.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think this is the clear evidence of the coordination that we have. You've been going all over the sporting area, which I think he did a great job. Seriously, now I'm joking, but to things that we have been talking before, the work that we do together, this is a clear example of the coordination that we have. He's been going all over the sporting strategy that we're following, and it proves how much we talk, how much we work together, because I mean, I subscribe absolutely every word he said about this. This is exactly where we're trying to take the sporting side of the club, and hopefully we're in the right track. I really feel we are doing that.
We'll get on to individual contracts shortly, because I think a lot of people want to really dig into that. A lot of the fans want to know what happens behind the scenes. But when you talk about strategy, how much do the owners have an involvement in that strategy process?
Oh, so it's a good question. I mean, listen, Stan and Josh Kroenke are in sport because they're passionate about sport and because they want to win. So when I talk about the strategy around making our fans all across the world proud of their football club and competing to win the Premier League and the Champions League, that doesn't come from Raul and it doesn't come from me. That comes from our owners. They're hugely ambitious around where they want to take this football club, and they remind us of that all the time. And they're massively involved. So between Raul and I, we probably speak to the owners pretty much every day, and we have detailed in-person meetings with them, I'd say pretty much every month, whether we alternate between doing them in London or the States. So they're hugely involved in what we do. They are hugely knowledgeable about sport. It's well known that they have an American football team, an NBA team, an NHL team, an MLS team, a lacrosse team. So they know sport, and they're really, really passionate about Arsenal and really passionate about how we can move the club forward. But they're also realistic. They know we're not going to go from where we are at the moment to delivering our ambition overnight, and they know there's going to be a whole load of work along the way to get there.
I'd like to remark on what Vinai is saying, because I think it's very, very important to make a special note. The passion, you were mentioning about the passion and the sports side of KSE and of our owners. I think it's proven already enough, but it's something that we get all the time. They live for sports. They really get the essence of sports, all the rewards of hard work and the pain of losing when you lose, but the joy of winning when you win. They are about succeeding. They really want us get to the optimized position for the club. And we feel the support from every time we speak with them, every time we receive a WhatsApp or an email, all the time. Every message that we get is supportive, but with one ultimate objective, is winning and winning our way. But they are in every sport, and they are with passion in every sport. So it's a pleasure to work for these people that really get it, and I think that's very important for us in our motivation, in our daily motivation.
And how much belief is there that this can be achieved?
Oh, total. I mean, we really believe in this. I feel very optimistic about, first of all, the trend that we're following. I think we have very great signs over the season this year. We brought in young talent that are performing to a very high standard. I would not get into names if you don't mind, just not to avoid missing anybody. We also brought some players that brought up the experience and the knowledge about the competition also. So obviously, needless is to say, the coaching staff, they're doing a great job preparing every game thoroughly and working with the players in tactics. And I really think we have been seeing over the season the right signs that we are in the right track. Again, as I said before, we need to outsmart the market. We need to continue getting the right players for the right positions and evolving the team to the level where we want to get. But I don't have any reason not to believe in this, because I really feel that we are in the right track and getting there.
And going back, I guess, to the earlier question around ownership, all of these initiatives and ideas that we have around how we move the club forward are completely supported by Stan and Josh. And their direction is quite simple. Every single penny that we generate as a football club is available for us to invest against achieving that ambition. And that's the maximum that we can ask from our owners, because that's the maximum that's allowed through the financial fair play rules. So we're feeling really confident about our ability to get there. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be plenty ups and downs along the way. And trust me, Raul and I feel those ups and downs as much as anyone. But we really believe in the direction that we're heading.